the very last thing you think of. It's like some stupid lyrics, and it's just really heavy fucking probably a tiny bit of synth, but like really much more on that heavy guitar riffs, that kind of thing.
Right. Um, yeah, so that's really like what you're tolerating as you drive there to the racetrack itself is just the end it's seemingly endless cascade of heavy metal and speed metal mixed in for fun. Um, I can actually pull up an example of this. Just one moment. Because you're a metal singer yourself, I won't make you roll to retain your sanity. So you got that going for you. Example of how an aspect can just outright protect you from damage to your, well, in this case, hearing, pretty much. Um, but if anyone else had chosen Helena as a partner, would likely be under threat of being bombarded with this music. In fact, I think you as a character probably even would recognize that not many people could tolerate this shit.
Very few people could for long periods of time.
As she's driving, a trucker begins to pull up at high speeds next to her. It looks like the back part of it is on a hover platform, and the front of it is on an old retrofitted chassis. It's pulling some kind of heavy industrial load, and the driver inside of it is wearing some uniform you don't recognize. Spikes are aligned along their front faceplate, and you can tell by the burning red, literal laser dot eyes that they have that Helena must have cut them off, or they feel like she is not obeying the rules of the road. But either way, the language of their vehicle and the fact that they're just staring daggers at her tells you that this driver is likely to get very aggressive. Um, Helena just kind of doesn't seem to notice at first that she's like just shifting into gear to pull past this trucker. She glances over at the trucker, and then pulls down her sunglasses to stare at you, Claudia. I think this guy wants to fucking race. What do you want, Chief? You're like the adult in the room.
As long as we get there on time, go wild.
Oh, okay. She puts the car into high speed. Damn. So as she's driving, you notice that she is starting to pull maneuvers that wouldn't normally make sense with a car, such as like she pulls sort of like an inch away from the truck parallel, pulls forward, and then starts to move almost completely in front of it, still maintaining complete straightforward like wheel motion. She is not turning the car at all. It looks like it's being slid in place. Beneath the car, but you don't see it. You might be able to hear it or even feel a cold, chilly mist as Reapers manifested by her stand Black Parade are just moving the vehicle around in strange and supernatural ways. They begin to re-maneuver and position the car until it's right in front of the truck. And then she turns the car sideways so that she is facing the driver's side window, and it's still moving at approximately 120 miles per hour. So she's just moving sideways in front of this truck. If she stopped even for a second or just hit the brakes, she would be smashed into pieces by this much larger vehicle. You can see her roll down her window, lean out, lift up her sunglasses, and say, "Comrade, what's the fucking problem?" and you see the driver of that truck begin to simultaneously lose his mind with anger and confusion before he slams on the gas and tries to actually T-bone a woman who is setting up for it. You then are able to see Helena try to pull a second maneuver where she whips her vehicle all the way around so that she's now driving backwards and now on the other side of the truck with her driver's side still facing his driver's side. So now she's driving backwards at the same speed, an increasing speed. Um, she flips off the truck driver and then starts going off on a string of expletives about the Red Kingdom until the driver looks forward, sees a woman pushing a stroller across the highway, slams his brakes, flips his truck, and it just goes skidding along the highway, causing a 5-car pileup. The woman pushing the stroller just disperses into a series of black sheets that blow away on the wind, and Helena is just driving backwards, watching this picture of destruction get smaller and smaller. You are also, I guess, looking straight ahead at it as she is driving backwards. She seems pretty smug with herself as she now takes out the cigarette lighter from Suicide Boy's console and then lights one. You want to smoke?
No thanks.
Yeah, whatever. You can see that now that the car is driving backwards, she's left a trail of fuel. Either she slashed it from something or one of her stand left it running as she was pulling backwards. She flicks the cigarette lighter out of the window onto the trail and then puts her hands behind her head and watches with a lit cigarette between her lips as the fire travels down the highway towards the pile of cars and just ignites the entire thing. She seems pretty satisfied with herself. You're not certain how many people may or may not have been injured in that crash. There are a lot of automated vehicles on the road, but she doesn't seem to care. She spins the car around violently with one free hand and then kicks it up to even a higher speed as she races towards the 55 drive racetrack. We're gonna fucking murder it.
In more ways than one.
Pulling past the initial checkpoints and barriers that lead up to the 55 drive racetrack, there are a lot of vehicles that are coming towards this location for today's race. In particular, it's for the race held by Konopka Presser, the Death Rally 5000, as it's been called in all press releases. As you and Helena are pulling up to the track, you also see the presence of Russian or Red Kingdom police vehicles going past you to respond to an incredible disaster somewhere along the road. She just kind of shakes her head and pulls in to the area where there are signups and registrations, cutting off more than one person who was attempting to make their way there, cutting right in front of one line of them, and eventually just pulling up almost right up to the table where people are to sign up, knocking one man over in a fancy, what looks like high-cost Italian race suit. She opens her door, steps on this guy as she gets out, and then goes to sign up. This gives you the opportunity, as she's taking care of that, to take care of anything else that you might need to, you might want to do or check up on as you are here, as well as maybe get introduced to some of the other people who will be signing up for the race today. Helena's not very social, so she won't be making friends with them, likely.
Right. I mean, she's probably gonna get it, step out of the car and go over to the very nicely dressed man to kind of hold out a hand. Need a need a lift?
Uh, appreciate, Senora. And then you notice as he goes to like pick, grab your hand, his arm actually falls like down, bent wrong, like it's been broken right at the middle of the forearm. He doesn't seem to notice it at first. He's just still trying to reach.
Think you need the hospital there, bud.
Oh, he looks at his like floppy broken arm. Excuse me. And he gets up and like tries to correct his broken arm as he's walking away. Very polite for a man who just got his arm broken by being bumped into by a car and then walked on by a woman. But that's fine. Not a huge problem. I will tell you that the 55 drive racetrack is a very strange, complex structure. It looks like it was built inside of what was formerly a thorium reactor, but has been since retrofitted and converted into a closed, a semi-open dome racetrack with very intricately carved grooves that have been maybe once were tracks for moving materials, now are where the actual track is being laid. Some of those grooves and tracks go up along walls, so a car would need a certain amount of momentum to go up that without just flipping off and exploding on the ground below, and presumably on the audience who are also here to watch the races take place. The casino portion of it seems to have been built into a retrofitted administrative building for said reactor. And though there are no more radioactive elements in this particular facility, it certainly doesn't look like a natural, safe structure. Much of it, especially along the ceiling, some of the decorations from which there are hanging neon signs, scoreboards, various types of displays. Some of them seem like they are only hanging on by a thread. Some of them have been bolted in at a strange angle, and some are even manually painted to look like electric signs, but are not. And in fact, you will see a man hanging from a rope up there, painting over a previous letter and then slowly painting a new letter in its place. All of it in Russian, of course.
Of
This is,
course.
yeah, this is a very strange makeshift and possibly highly dangerous racetrack. Almost as much of a mess as the person that you are counting on to help you complete this mission.
Very much so.
So while Helena is going to be a racer that is entering this competition, you will have your own part in what you can do here to ensure her and well your total victory over Konopka. Um, there is information about Konopka and who she is, and of all of the assassination targets, she is the one who likely has the most control over her environment, even counting the Master of Gaze and Daros. The moment you enter this facility, while Helena doesn't herself seem completely aware of it, you have been given a heads up that almost anything here could be a trap. Almost anything at all. You have no idea what it could be because the only person that would know it is someone that is as proficient in matters of feng shui and spin as Konopka is. With that in mind, you do have some information about Konopka that is important to know. One is she has a crew of people that help to arrange things around her environment called map makers. They also help to update certain information that she has about the environment. They are not necessarily the same as guards, but they are definitely those who have trained in many of the same arts that she has. You know that she loves to gamble, You know that she is the youngest of the elite guards at only age 19. And you also know that she is, as a samurai, her reputation is one of the odds being heavily against her in many duels as she was coming up. And she completely murdered the shit out of whoever she was fighting, including like very old, venerated warriors within the Valentine clan and the other samurai clans that have like come since to challenge her and her place. She is known to be extremely underestimated as a combatant and also to be very difficult to predict. Um, I will give you the opportunity to, we'll say, like, if you can make some successful rolls here, you may be able to uncover other aspects that could help you or provide you with an advantage when you're dealing with her. But those, obviously, those approaches in your preparation should be based off of kind of what Claudia's expertise is. So, I guess even it could have been, they could have been preparations before you even arrived at this location. But what are some advantages do you think that Claudia could prepare to bring to the table on this?
Well, obviously, she's kind of a gambling addict, so I figure, she'll love if the stakes are really high for her to win. So I figure at least one of them would be actually betting against her winning.
Okay. Um, Go ahead and give me a secret sniffer roll with a difficult passive difficulty of 4. This is a
Okay.
little bit of a difficult roll because the odds are not easy to play against Konopka. Failing this roll doesn't have necessarily have penalties, but succeeding in it could have many benefits.
Oof.
Oof! You want to fate point it? I'll give you opportunities to compel, and don't forget you can always self compel if you need fate points back.
Yeah, I will fate point to, re-roll that.
For 3. Um, you would still need to spend 1 fate point to pass the 4 difficulty, or you could succeed at some complication if you wish.
I'll succeed with a complication.
Konopka's favorite game to play is Russian roulette, and if you bet against her, that means you play against her. So you now have that information in your pocket, and technically you can compel her if you'd like to play some Russian roulette.
All right. Let's see. For information on her, ha- specifically the kind of duel she's had. like, would that be public or private knowledge?
Some of the information would be pretty public. There is, a Web of Vibes, a certain account called the Gardener that will make announcements about samurai duels. So it's likely that you've seen Konopka over. If you've done any research, there's probably also sites that just archive samurai duels online so that people can check up on them and that sort of thing. In this case, Konopka is obviously undefeated because she's still alive, but more importantly, she's had, we'll say, 3 or 4 pretty high profile duels before she became an elite guard. So about 6 months ago, we'll say, she became part of the elite guard. Before that, she was a bit of a dark horse amongst people that like to bet and gamble on samurai duels between opponents. It's actually a pretty big market for people to know who's out there fighting and then bet what happens if those two fight, or that sort of thing. Entire gambling websites actually center on this. So as far as that's concerned, Konopka is considered to be one of the highest earning samurais in terms of like odds and actual performance. Are you looking for information specifically on her style of fighting, or
Y-
you are? Um,
yes.
that sort of information is much more difficult to nail down unless a samurai has a large social profile, such as was it Thomas Two Tone? I believe had more of a "I'm going to show people how I do shit" sort of vibe. And you also have some people like Spinatra. Uh, it's popular among Valentine Clan, and some Jaguar Clan also like to use guerrilla tactics, social media marketing to promote their various environmental causes by showing them taking down corporate Ronin type CEO samurais, or um, that sort of thing. In Konopka's case, actual footage of her duels is not readily accessible, with the exception of maybe one, but we can determine what the contents of that are. If you give me a, let's see, martial arts expert role. Again, passive difficulty of 4. No, we'll make it a 3. It's not that difficult. You're someone who is like maybe more, because you're a martial arts expert, you maybe have easier access to the resources. Yeah, with a 3, you're able to track down sort of an obscure bit of information on a forum that's probably run by older people about samurai duels and analyzing fighting styles. Uh, Information on all of the elite guard is not easy to track down, but in Konopka's earlier days, as she was just coming up, maybe even not long after she had gotten her samurai sword, there is a shot of her dueling someone, appearing to be stabbed by them, and then turning around so that the camera can fully see that the person in question was stabbed with their own blade, um, and then just releasing them from her grip and then decapitating them as they're falling. That is the only real footage that you have, but it seems that she works with reversals very, very well. On top of that, all the turning, the twisting that she did to decapitate this person, and even kind of the look and style of her blade, which, uh, to be honest, is a little strange. It looks like a bubble wand made of metal with a obviously a sharp edge to it, but it just looks like a giant bubble wand.
Okay, that is unusual.
Like one of the very long, like vertical types of like bubble wands.
Right.
It has a handle. It is made of metal, but it's got open portions to it. And you notice actually once she's cut through, the blood actually will kind of form a very thin film over the openings, the holes in the metal blade. Um, so something there makes some kind of sense, but it's difficult to see because she did not use her sword specifically to gain that advantage. Um, that will provide you with some knowledge of perhaps how to deal with her style initially, but it won't be strong enough to tell you everything that you would need to know because while you are a martial arts expert, you are not a samurai.
Right. I guess the next bit of information I feel like would be pertinent would be, I guess, definitely her opinions on certain things, but not sure how I would get that.
You want to know more about her opinions on what?
I guess the Seven Nation Army in general, like any controversial opinion she might have that wouldn't necessarily be great to find out.
Uh, well, officially, unofficially, anyone that's in the Seven Nation Army's elite corps of any kind tends to be some kind of loyalist, or that is their public image. You would likely know that Konopka Presser is native born to the Red Kingdom. Um, Getting actual information on any political leanings or difficulties that she may have with the Seven Nation Army structure and way of doing things is difficult at this moment. Dorabo may have some information that could be provided to you through Lebroy or even Lazaro, whose job usually is like sort of digging up stuff like this. In which case, like, you can get information that may be important, but it may cost you a little bit beyond just like mechanical resources, like a little bit of your soul, basically, to get that sort of level of information on a person. They do have it available, though. So I guess it's a question of how much do you want to know this? Because it's definitely not something that's freely or readily available.
Hmm. I guess I would pay the price to know this to be able to use it against her potentially.
Okay. Um, you have a new aspect. You are minorly indebted to Dorbo for information. Um, that can get You can get rid of that at some point. Treat it like a consequence. It's just not officially a consequence on your sheet. If Dorbo wants information or needs information for some reason, you are, I'm not going to say completely obligated to provide it to them, but um, it might be in your best interest to do so, considering that these people are able to dig up the following information that they did about Konopka. She is the daughter of a pretty stock standard lieutenant within the Red Kingdom's forces. Her father was an industrialist who was attempting to plan a clean energy rehabilitation of many of Red Kingdom's areas, including Vladivostok. And her mother was the aforementioned lieutenant within the Red Kingdom. Both of them are still alive, but after some controversy, the father was forced to retire from his position and withdraw his proposals, and the mother kind of like stayed stagnant within her position. So it's likely that there was some kind of either controversy there, or that um, it's just a matter of politics and the wrong place at the wrong time for both of their career trajectories. As such, Konopka was not thought to be a very talented or particularly bright aspect or prospect for military academy within the Red Kingdom, and was largely overlooked for her development until she hit around the age of 17, when her studies began to reflect higher scores than her average, and she was suspected of cheating, in which case she was found not to be, and instead was suspended for suspicion of witchcraft, is the official report. After that, She managed to re-enter, reapply through different cores of the Red Kingdom, including part of the mechanical core and some of the logistics branches, because of her outstanding test scores and the fact that nobody was quite sure how it was that she was succeeding so well. Um, it wasn't long for her to kind of prove through merit that she was able to pull up and past her peers until she then manifested a samurai sword. And all records then show her leaving academy and going on to simply be a soldier, enlisted. Past that, not a whole lot of information is to be had on her missions and various operations. Although it does have some of the telltale signs that she was involved in wet work for certain intelligence branches within the Seven Nation Army, likely against some of the very same industrialists that were related to her father's line of work, showing that there must have been some similarity or some familiarity with it, rather. Until finally, she succeeded in a string of duels and rose to the current position that she is in, Elite Guard, which is pretty much among the it's like highest of high tier upper echelon. The Doribo report on this says that there's no way that someone at that age could have actually reached that level without personally either besting another member of the elite guard in a performance measurement exam, or President Valentine just personally made that decision. Otherwise, in the whole overall global structure of the Seven Nation Army, to say that like this young girl was like talented enough to pull it off almost seems like there are reports in various channels here where there's speculation that President Valentine may have been sleeping with her, or that she is an illegitimate daughter of the Valentines from Bloody Valentine, or both. There are also some rumors that she is some asset of an internal cabal within the Seven Nation Army that's attempting to throw an eventual coup on the Valentines. But all of it seems like speculation and bluster. There's no actual evidence for any of it. And it does tend to center these sorts of political intrigues are incredibly common among people at this level of power. Like, there's also rumors that President Valentine is a robot or an alien or a Dagonite in disguise. Nobody really knows. Like, all this is just like chatter from various channels.
Right. That makes sense.
Generally, I would say, to answer your question about how she feels about the Seven Nation Army, um, you would probably go give me a mom mode role, I guess.
All right.
This isn't really a pass or fail. This is more of a determine how much you can read. With a five, you can read very well on this one. You have young children of your own who may have difficulties in academics and performance. The kind of general trajectory of Konopka tells you that this woman is likely very intelligent and often disregarded or disrespected by peers, and formerly was only able to rise up by indisputable things like test scores, but now actually is on the rise because she can kill people who doubt her. Um, this woman is likely someone who's very driven by her own performance, and maybe in light of how the stagnant careers of her parents have affected her, as she has developed under this very it, the system of the Seven Nation Army is one of like almost arbitrary war. Without war, the Seven Nation Army wouldn't exist. It just couldn't. It's too bloated, and the world's too broken for it to be tolerated by the populace. But as long as they have a war that they are supposedly engaging in to protect the citizenry and to show that the life within the Seven Nation Army is always better than the life outside of it, they maintain some measure of control. Konopka is a product of that entirely. She could have been perhaps an industrialist like her father, but instead chose the soldier life of her mother. Her feelings on the Seven Nation Army are likely the same way that somebody feels about a workplace that they actually believe in, but are not necessarily 100% like blindly, zealously, religiously loyal to. More of philosophically, it's likely that she's smart enough to see the charade for what it is, but maybe also see the necessity of it. That makes her a I don't know what you want to call it, lawful neutral technically. I don't know. She is she's not necessarily a wicked or as messed up as some of the other people in the elite guard. I will say that she is. Doribo's intel on this says that she is the one of the more reasonable people within the elite guard. The other reasonable person would have been the master of drift, um, Kulash, but he is dealing with something else right now, and he's dealing with Alsatia and Towner.
All right.
So I will give you another aspect or boost to end that segment, and it is probably a good one. She can be reasoned with. If you're attempting to use social roles to reason with Konopka in some way, she may be able to. You may be able to get through to her if you speak about things in a reasonable or logical way, or at least present them in a way that would be beneficial to her. While other elite guards are not always reasonable. For example, Nordwind had corrupted himself so thoroughly with dark manifestations of Ripple that to break through to him would be a very difficult thing. Not to mention he was incredibly old, and Endaros probably had many of his like brain functions tied up in observing people and keeping track of them. Um, Kanaka, on the other hand, does all of her defensive work and bodyguard work as a matter of feng shui arrangement, and often even emotional sentiment. In that way, she is probably one of the more human members of the elite guard. There is an important part of Leroy's objective here that he did emphasize, which is you don't always have to kill the target. You don't, it's not necessary to kill them. It's only necessary to disable them so that their ability does not activate automatically um, at an appointed time. So you have an opportunity to knock a person out, but you're also not sure exactly what the procedure is for how their abilities are able to work at such a long range away from the president. One would presume the elite guard would need to be within normal stand operating range, at least, to get that to fire off. In this case, there must either be some sort of condition being arranged by a fifth person, or there are other functions that you're just not aware of. As far as this is concerned, though, you do not need to kill Konopka if you do not wish to. Of course, your partner Helena, on the other hand, you have seen is very, very flippant and flagrant when it comes to death and destruction.
Yeah.
As noted by the nice Italian gentleman who walked away with the broken arm and the 5 car pileup she left on the way here.
The burning five car pile.
Yeah, the one she ignited. In the meantime, now that you have that information out of the way, we should probably get more of a look at some of these other racers.
Right.
Um, so we'll start with some of the other people that are likely already registered and getting ready to go out onto the track. We'll start with oh boy. Well, which one of you feels ready to present your racer, your character?
I suppose I can.
Okay. Yeah, do it.
Uh,
Tell us about them.
Tell us all about them right now.
Hi. She's written in the books at least as Octavia Kego. She's kind of a mystery racer that appears all around the world whenever a race happens. Just kind of out of nowhere. And she just really, really enjoys the thrill of the race. And when she's in a race, everybody around her seems to drive crazier than normal.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
What's her car like?
I imagine it as like a very smooth black car with like purple lights.
Nice.
I haven't found a picture. I will have to edit one, I think.
All right.
She is actually in secret a literal demon that feeds on daredevils and thrills.
Oh no. Wow, a racetrack makes so much sense now for them.
Yes. So she will also appear at, say, skateboarding competitions or. Yeah.
Oh no, before skateboarders.
Speedboats or skate parks So she's gonna make Helena even more unreasonable.
Okay,
no.
fair enough.
I guess
So-
I'll go next.
Yeah, let's drag out Zoe Shanghai.
Yeah. Alright, so this is a young woman just kinda she wanted to be a pilot, but for some reason or another, she never admits why. It just didn't work out for her. So, next best thing to catch like some intense air is racing. Her car is probably like covered in sponsorship stickers because this is really just a job and she is just settling, but whenever she can, she'll try to get like her kicks in, you know? She's pretty graceful. She is distractible because, you know, she's not all the way in this, but she does want to win and get some money because maybe, just maybe, she can just buy her own damn plane. But, that's Zoe Shanghai.
Dope. And then, are you really going with Samurai Cop for your guy?
Yes.
All right. If I could make a Mid-Journey picture, would it be suitable? Of Samurai
Yes, that's
Cop?
also fine.
I don't know about these pictures. Maybe actually, they might be good. Hold on, let me just get this. Is his name Sylvester?
Yeah, you can call him Sin for short.
Oh, Avenged Sevenfold, really? Oh my god.
Okay, hold on, I got you covered, fam. Let me if I can, believe it or not, you probably could. Mid-Journey, you can do Samurai Cop actor. It's gonna look a little. All right, this might be good. Let's see.
I could also run it through a filter.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Mm.
Give it that.
I wait with bated breath.
Let me see if that fits. It should. 1 second. Let me drag it down. Well, you can tell me a little bit about this guy, I guess. What is Sylvester's deal?
Yeah, Sylvester Wasn't originally a driver. Oh boy. I just opened his page just to see the token. Alrighty.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah, that's a
Oh my
guy.
god.
Oh.
He wasn't originally a driver, but after a terrible accident that occurred in his past, it was very traumatic. Don't ask him about it because he will tell you all about it. Um,
I just
he
know
now,
it's broody.
he now drives to find the person that caused the past trauma and get his revenge. And he will race every track in the world until he finds him. The car that he drives is an exact replica of a 1970 Dodge Charger, similar to Dominic Toretto from the Fast and Furious series. But the engine and everything inside is modern. It just simply looks on the exterior like the car.
Stylish.
So as you racers are getting ready for the, I guess, preliminaries, making sure that all of your, like the inspections that are to take place, um, this woman enters the bay with kind of everyone else. She looks like a fucking mess and smells like beer, cigarette smoke, and a little bit of vomit.
Oh no.
She is just wearing sunglasses and walks over to the wrong person's car. And then when that person gets angry that she's over there, you can see her shove them and then flip them off and walk over towards a very streamlined, aggressive looking retro vehicle. Her car is registered as Suicide Boy. Her name is only registered as Helena. And any one of you is free to try to learn a little bit about her as a racer. Her appearance would tell you that she's not a professional, but her attitude is certainly one of somebody that thinks they're very good. Are any of your racers sizing up other racers, including Helena?
You know what? Zoe's gonna elbow Sinfester. Hey, I'd keep an eye out on that one over there. She looks like she's ready to just blow out.
Yeah, Sid would probably turn. He's probably working under the hood of his car, so he'd probably stop and take a look. Probably just like grit his teeth and just go, not who I'm looking for, and just go back to work.
Oh, focused one. Don't mind me.
Another race car pulls in to the bay. This one is weird because it looks like a train, but on car wheels, on tires. And a man steps out in a large stovepipe hat. He doesn't say anything to anyone. His car is suspiciously train-like for a car. And whenever he is questioned and goes into register, when they ask him questions, he merely leans in and starts whispering and mumbling to them, and you can hear them saying, "Speak up! Speak up! We can't understand you. What is name?"
Oh god, Sidonia people.
There is from you, okay, go, Octavia K. Go. You feel an intense threat coming from this train man. He may be here for you.
he,
Oh.
he tries to resist steaming a little because she likes that. It gives her a thrill that someone is here to compete with her. She has to kind of like put a hand over some of the holes in her suit, keep it from purple steam from coming out. She kind of smiles at him and gives him a little wink.
Upon closer inspection of Red Parchetta in his vehicle, it really does look like he took the bottom half of a race car and just put a train on top of it It looks way too heavy and way too unwieldy to possibly be involved in a race. But as the inspectors are going over it, they seem to be giving it the okay. Sinvester. I
You
know
can
you
just
said
say sin.
I'm gonna just call him Sinvester every time.
Perfect.
Mr. Vester, Mr. Vengeance. Um, is there anything about the person who wronged you that I should know? Maybe yes.
No, I was gonna leave it up to you.
Oh, okay.
Because if anybody were to ask him about it, he would initially. Well, you'll see.
Yeah, of course. You know what? Just someone's doing an inspection of your vehicle, here's some like just crusty, kind of chubby, older Russian mechanic saying, "Oh, so what is deal with name? This is very odd. Are you entertainer?"
Yeah, he probably has stopped working on the car and is just kind of standing around it, watching the guy look it over, and he just goes, "Well, it's a long story, filled with blood and tears." And then he kind of like looks off in the distance. He goes, "It started back when I first got married. My wife, she was beautiful. We had an amazing life together. White picket fence, a house, the whole nine. And then one day I came home. The door was unlocked and broken. I went looking for her, and he just like he's getting like his teeth are starting to grind audibly, and he isn't making he's just making noises, but because he isn't opening his jaw, nothing's really it just and then he came and I feel good. He's just like red in the face, like from the neck up. He's not even looking at the guy. Like fists are clenched as he's like telling this story, just going on and on.
You see, well, I don't know. How long does it take you to notice how the guy's reacting? I suppose because
He probably finishes his whole story before he continues. And that's why I race.
the man pulls off his ear protection and puts it around his neck, and then lowers his clipboard. Are you okay?
I will be someday when I get my vengeance.
Oh, okay. That is interesting story. Good. Everything looks fine on vehicle. I hope that you are racing well and getting the vengeance you so richly desire here at the 55 Drive Racetrack. Do you need beverage or any sort of other checkup? Air conditioning, I assume, is at quality level.
Everything on this vehicle is made for one thing and one thing only. And that's to get to the finish line with a bunch of bodies behind it. And he slams like the hood down. It's good to go.
That is extremely intense. On his clipboard, when it lists beverages, he just marks off non-caffeinated and then underlines.
No alcohol, no caffeine.
Very good. Thank you, sir. I will see you on the racetrack. Please drive safe.
He just kind of sneers at him when he says, like, drive safe.
The same man is now performing final inspection on your vehicle, Zoe. He kind of like goes over some of it, and then is your car at all modified or stand out?
Not really. No, I don't see why it would be.
Okay. He marks everything off. All looks satisfactory here, Miss Shanghai. Any other notes that you would like to provide? Any beverages that you would like? Food considerations, allergies?
Mm, just the water with a lemon. I like it to be clean and efficient.
Okay, that sounds good and reasonable. And you have no plans for vengeance or leaving bodies in your wake or anything?
No, honey, I'm just here to win.
Good. That is very reassuring. Thank you for being here. You do not know how appreciative I am. Good day to you, madam. He just simply tips his hat and walks on, and finally goes to, I guess, moves on to Octavia K. Go.
Mhm.
He goes to look at your card and looks at you and stares for a moment. Is that the costume you're wearing?
I'm a speed demon.
Oh, that is very, very fun for the people in the stands. I am noticing here that you do not have listed next of kin or relations of any kind in the event of accident. Is that true?
I'm sorry, none of those.
Okay, very good. No insurance policy either, no home address, medical records unavailable. That is not necessary for racing. Is there any other information that perhaps you think that we should know before you go out on track?
Mm, well, uh, I hope you have a good time.
I will be hiding in office likely and eating sandwich while the races happen. So no, I'm a pretty low thrills kind of person. Even though this is the environment, I had a gambling problem a while ago, and so it's probably bad for me to work at racetrack and casino. But I actually find it pretty relaxing now that I look at it from a non gambling kind of way, recovery and everything. So I keep things very low energy. I listen to classical music.
Uh, Octavia seems to be very upset about this entire thing.
How upset?
Very upset.
Um, does any of that manifest within your? Oh, you do. You have a trouble. You get a compel right now.
Okay, I'll take it.
This man is espousing a very boring, laid-back lifestyle, free of adrenaline and thrills, and in fact was at some point some kind of junkie of the thrill, and is now in recovery.
Oh
Uh,
no.
you were compelled to convince him that maybe he should gamble a little during the race.
Okay, I will lean in and sort of whisper to him. I bet you could put all your money on me. I'm definitely going to win.
He like lowers his earpiece and looks around. What do you mean? You are some kind of famous race car person? I have never heard of you. I am
Yeah,
intrigued.
I'm a dark horse, and well, I can literally phase through other cars.
I just don't know if I gamble money, I won't have anything to pay for wedding that is to come up. I have met a nice woman, and if I throw away all that money after she has put so much faith into me for recovering from gambling, it would be ruinous. It would
It's
ruin me. But it may also, if I were to win, I would have enough money for house and.
really a thrilling bet.
He looks around again. Okay, thank you, Miss Keigo. I will write everything down. He kind of eyes you and then walks away. Give me a thrill roll. The two. He nods his head at you. I will be sure to watch action, not just eat sandwich. I hope that you win. He
She gives,
smiles nervously.
she twirls one of her like pigtails, gives him a cute little thumbs up. Um, but her grin is a little malicious.
Ah, yeah, he looks very unsettled as he walks away, but you can feel that perhaps you planted the seed of a gambling thrill inside of this poor normal man. Uh, those are some of your racers there. A few of the other racers are present. It looks like they are kind of like stock standard international representatives from. Some look like they're from formerly the Chinese parts of the Red Kingdom. There's a few that are uh, from the British and Italian speedways. And there's like one or two Americans, though they look very gnarly. Their cars tend to be very, uh, we'll say, Mad Maxy a little bit. Let's see, what do you say? You get an extra fate point for your compels.
Yeah. Basically, my thing is all about compelling things people to do riskier stunts. I don't know if that's broken, so I'm asking.
It's pretty broken.
Yeah, okay.
Getting more fate points is broken unless you're paying them.
Maybe I have to immediately pay them, or what would be a good drawback?
Maybe
For
if she has
that.
like 2 aspects you can use.
I would say that if they're under the effects of adrenaline and you give them a compel,
Oh, I guess he wasn't under the effects of adrenaline.
he wasn't. But like, if you
Okay.
do that, then like either they pay 2 points or you pay them 2 points for basically denying or accepting. But either way, if they have less than if they're down to 1, then they have to accept that compel. So you got that going for you. It's a real like double down. We'll just work with that for now. You just get 1 fate point though.
Okay.
And you don't get a fate point for compelling. You don't get an extra fate point for compelling people. That's the compels are what you give them. So, like, you're compelling them.
Yes, it's mostly supposed to be against other people. Yeah.
You probably are fine, I think, for your stunts, though. If we roll it like that. So there we go. Those are your racers for the evening. Claudia, as people have been getting ready to get suited up and get out on the track, what do you feel like you have been or would have been doing or angling towards as far as your part of the mission goes? Helena is going to be out there on the track manipulating the race as well as she can to probably attempt to provoke or egg on Konopka and her gambling tendencies. In order for Helena to get the best out of her side of that tactic, she's going to need to know information that maybe you would have a better time gathering, such as the odds, the odds, the spread on the bets that are taking place here at the track, conditions even, although they're pretty controlled in this environment because it is a semi indoor racetrack. Also, any social information would be useful for her. But also, you are a key part of this mission. So, what do you feel like you're doing, or how you operating on this?
I feel like right now she's probably operating around, I want to say, kind of like the bookies for the moment. Kind of gathering odds, seeing if she can find information about the cars and the people driving them. 'Cause I figure the racing is not always about just the machine, but the people behind the machine. So obviously she's trying to gather a little bit of information about that, so she can transmit it and increase her odds of dealing with someone who is maybe really looking for vengeance, or so obviously they'll be reckless if the person is there on the track, but if they're not, maybe they'll be more defensive or whatever, that kind of thing.
Okay. So as you're hanging out with the bookies, a young woman is also attempting to put in bets. She happens to notice you kind of like standing out and gives you a small tap on the shoulder and says, "Hey, you are new in town. You are not from here. I can tell, right?"
What gave it away? Was it the Hawaiian shirt?
Oh no, a lot of people like to wear those around here. But it reminds them of the sun that they don't get to see too often. You, though, that Hawaiian shirt in particular looks like you bought it and you knew what you were looking for. So that at least says that it's not just a simple garish vacation shirt, but something you might wear around the house. I like the floral pattern. It's nice.
Thank you.
You are here to place a bet.
Yes, I am.
Oh, how much money are you throwing down? Is it a week's paycheck or something?
Couple months I've been saving.
Couple months. Big spender. That's good. I am pleased to meet you then. Hello. My name is. She shakes your hand, or attempts to. Konopka. Presser.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Konopka.
Pleasure to meet you as well. I like to keep things nice and organized here at the 55 Drive racetrack. It's one of my favorite homes away from home. I make sure that everything is nice and stable, and in particular, every single part of it is plotted out in some kind of way. You know, like, I, I hope I am not rambling at you, but when you go to grocery store, for example, any grocery store, the aisles are set up in a certain way so that the attention is drawn to one shelf or another. When you walk a certain path, the left or right hand will be immediately draw the attention. Of course, this is only true of people for the most part, and those who aren't trained specifically to look out for manipulative tactics. But one would say that the people who are able to manage that sort of thing tend to end up with better odds of making money. The same is true of racetracks and casinos. They black out the windows so that you cannot see what time it is. They give you free drinks so that you don't think so much. Your head is clouded with booze. And in general, everything seems to be nice and laid back so that the people can take as much money out of your pocket as you wish. Racetracks are the same way, right down to the little hot dog stands and things like that that blow the air of cooked meats in certain directions so that you or your family or whoever gets drawn in to get that certain good that they want. They all think that it's just their luck or someone else's luck, but all luck sometimes feels like it's made. Same was true here at 55 Drive. I am a frequent visitor, as you can tell. And also, I happen to notice she points down at the ground where you're standing. You are standing with feet turned a certain way. As you stand here casually, you probably didn't even think about it, but they are turned a certain way. I happen to notice. She kind of like starts to rub her chin as she walks around you. The certain direction that you're standing in right now tells me that you are here on business, not pleasure. Do you think that's accurate?
It's a little bit of business, a little bit of pleasure.
I didn't hear you. You were far away. What'd you say?
Oh, it's a little bit of business and a little bit of pleasure mixed in.
Oh, I see. She takes a coin out from her pocket and flips it as she talks. Business and pleasure is good. I'll tell you what. We make a bet right now. You and me. Small bet. Let's say for $1. Do you have $1 to bet? Flip coin, $1. To see how your odds are for the rest of the race.
Sure.
Okay. Heads or tails? You call.
Heads.
It lands on tails. She reveals the coin flip to you. Ooh, tough luck. Do you want to flip again? Heads or tails? No double money or nothing. You can have a chance to win. But let's see how good your luck is. Heads or tails?
Uh, I'll go with heads again.
She shows you the coin. What are odds, huh? I don't know if you should be gambling today at this particular racetrack. So far, it seems to be risky. But I will give you one more opportunity. Do you still wish to bet on heads, or do you prefer tails this time?
I go with my intuition, and it says heads.
She shows you the tails. 3 in a row. She pockets the coin. You can keep your dollar. I don't think that I will need it as much as you do. Do not tell me what you're going to bet on because it might jinx me a little. No offense, but that is a nice shirt. She kind of looks around the area, and then the bookies catch her eye. I should be going in to place tickets. I will see you around. What is your name, by the way?
Claudia Cornell.
Claudia Cornell. Nice name. She nods and bows her head to you, and then goes to the bookie's window. And you can see she is just putting down bets. Konopka is your target, no doubt. You couldn't really sense malicious intention in what she was doing just now or saying, and it didn't seem like she was actually using anything to alter the odds. They just happened to be bad in that moment for you. Um, so even though there was no action necessarily taken, luck or fate or whatever you want to call it maybe wasn't in your favor. As she puts her odds down, she makes sure to cover herself and speak quietly so that people can't hear who it is that maybe she wants to put money down on. And there are more than one person. There's definitely more than one person who seems to be watching her. Though for such a high-profile Seven Nation Army operative and elite guard, she doesn't really have anybody around protecting her. No bodyguards or crew members, like what you would expect for someone at this rank. She doesn't even cut in line or make a big deal about who she is or anything like that. She just is acting like a normal person here at the races, right down to making small talk and complimenting your shirt. Once she has placed her bets, you can see her smile and nod to you again. And she just says quietly, though you can hear, I wish you better luck, my friend. And she departs to disappear somewhere into the crowd of people gathered here at the raceway. She didn't take a route to disappear, and she didn't make any effort to lose you. It's just that the way that she was walking, somebody else was walking a different way that covered where she went. People of different heights stacked in such a way that it completely obfuscates where she is going. Effortlessly, Konopka seems to be walking through this whole racetrack, the crowd, everything, without any worry of death or any worry of being defeated. She is as free and easy here as a bird in air. Um, and what she was saying about your feet, oh, give me a gaze roll.
Okay.
They are pointed towards, it looks like southwest and a more of, yeah, a south direction. They don't seem to be at all odd the way you're standing. You're just standing there. But now that you are more aware of it, you can see that your feet are pointed towards a certain corner of the area that you are in, wherein there are like trash receptacles sort of near that part, and also a man who is coughing into his closed hand is leaning against the wall, waiting for someone to leave, presumably a private bathroom. On top of that, you notice that there is a bird sort of opposite of you that is standing on a wire that is precariously strung. In other words, while you may not have necessarily noticed the oddities here, it seems Konopka picked up on them immediately. Not just the direction, but the flow of the room and any other living thing that may be influencing it. Um, you, as a merfolk, have the ability to somewhat understand communication between you and other merfolk over long range. When you are working with Aqua, you have the ability to do squad stunts or actions, for example, and those require a almost telepathic level of understanding and communication between one another. But what they really are is a series of almost unconsciously detected and given signals. If one were to draw parallels here, Konopka reads the environment and the odds like you can read long distance communications with other merfolk, including the ones that get their orders straight from the crowns or from Avicii. She is reading this area in a similar way. And it's telling her something. In this case, it may have told her that you'd get tails 3 times in a row. A signal you couldn't read. Very odd indeed. What is this magical art of feng shui? Do you think a mer person would believe in it?
I don't believe Claudia would believe in it. She's probably like, there's no way. The feng shui is bullshit.
Okay. Give me a give me a martial arts expert roll.
Okay.
Passive difficulty of 3.
Oh, Jesus.
You feel something hit your shoulder. Bird poop.
She just brushes it off.
Oh, this bodes ill indeed. Um, yes, as the longer you spend here, the more you are feeling like your luck is starting to drain a little bit. There's something here in the odds that feels unlucky to you. Whether it's you, whether it's the environment, something here is unfortunate. And looking out at the racetrack itself, it could be the site of a tragedy indeed. Who knows what kind? Um, but on that note, um, we should take a quick 5 to 10 minute break before we get back to it. So go ahead, take a quick 5 to 10, and we will return for the racing.
Woohoo.
Or as fans of racing like to call it, racism.
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard that while watching my family members watch NASCAR.
Oh no.
I think that's a different kind of racist.
No, I don't remember the context, but I'm pretty sure that's close.
Are you sure your uncle wasn't over for that during Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah, it was brought up then too. Don't they do NASCAR year round though?
I don't think they do it year round.
Yeah, because they did it for 8 years while Obama was president, and then I kind of forgot. Then they haven't really brought it up since. And
Oh no.
I'm sure that's not related.
Not related.
It might be more related than you think.
No, it can't be right.
If anyone was curious, the odds of getting the same result 3 times in a row is 1 in 8.
Yeah. Unlucky.
I had to look it up because I didn't think it would happen myself.
I don't think anyone did.
Sure, yeah, it's not that crazy. But if I did it a 4th time, that would be ridiculous.
Roll it.
Nope, see? We're
No,
gone.
yeah.
I forget what the odds are every time you go up. I guess I could just Google that.
2-sided. 2, 4, 6, 8. Because you rolled it
1 in
I was gonna
16.
times. Yeah.
I guess it just goes up by twice every time.
Yeah.
All right, everyone back?
So,
Yes, I think so.
Okay. All right. Then we should get back into it. Let's see. All right, everyone is here and ready, and the racers are obviously all getting ready to participate in a very big, very high stakes race. There are 6 of you, 6 racers that are currently standout odds. One of them is a racer that you haven't actually made any contact with. A sort of violently red race car with a very futuristic design. Um, the driver of which is not actually listed. The car is only called Testarossa Overdrive. That is what it is registered under the name of. This vehicle doesn't it the windows are all blacked out. You can't even see who's behind the wheel. But maybe one of you, actually you, Octavia, go ahead and give me a thrills roll. Passive difficulty of 4. With a 3, the car, there's something familiar about it, but you're not sure what. You can choose to invoke an aspect to get over that difficulty, or you could just ignore it.
this car before, you're saying?
What's that? You sort of, maybe.
Can I? Would it make sense to activate Daredevils to know if I know this car? If I've raced against it before, or
You can activate kind of any of your aspects, and you may be able to get an idea. But Daredevil is fine if you want it.
yeah, that one then.
Okay. Nobody else seems to be aware of the car's make and model. This is a Lewis Clark exclusive single production unit. The one of the most difficult race cars to hit the track and defeat.
Is there even a person in it?
You don't detect anybody.
Oh no!
For a racer like you, there could be no greater thrill than crushing a car of one of the gods.
But can it be affected by adrenaline?
I mean, that might be why it's difficult for you. These are machines. So, to answer your question, it's probably like a little bit of your bane in a way.
Yeah, I can't feed off of it. Does it feel thrill? I think so.
You don't know. Can't read it.
I'm gonna find out.
For you, Claudia, you know that you have to move in and disable your target Konopka. So while Helena's doing the race and everyone else's like eyes are on that, you have the opportunity to approach this takedown however you feel befits your skill level. Helena can provide you with some assistance, but you know that the overall plan is that Konopka is a master of feng shui and having everything be arranged. She's betting because she thinks that she has everything kind of like figured out here. If things go off kilter or are unpredictable, it could mess with her entire flow of feng shui and her sense of spin. So Helena will be doing her part by disrupting the race as much as she can. How is your approach? What do you see your approach being?
Honestly, I feel like a bit of sabotage on how the I'm not sure how it would work, but I figure messing with the feng shui that she definitely set up for the whole arena, I guess. Messing with fixtures or anything that seems like it would be set up perfectly, how Kanapa wanted it, and just kind of making things more difficult.
Okay, we can go through a series of rolls real quick. You have how many stones can your stand like a stone create?
I've honestly I figured about probably I've always wanted to say like around 8 or 10 somewhere in there. That's how I've imagined it.
Okay,
Uh,
so 8 or 10 stones. Um, let's just go with four. We'll go with five, I guess. Five different ways currently so you can reserve five. So five different stones you can place in different areas or cause rolls to flip on. Um,
Alrighty.
Spitballing it, what are some places do you feel you could like plant these stones subtly to cause disruptions in the environment?
Well, one of the ones I've definitely thought would be one of the well, obviously during a race, the racers are gonna obviously like. Here's my question about this race. Like, is it straightforward kind of? You go around the bend. I mean, obviously it's a little bit different in terms of makeup, but like, is it straightforward, no breaks, or is it more like you go to a pit stop every little bit because gas or whatever?
Um, there are there's the opportunity for pit stops, but the way that the race goes, like there are 10 rounds to it. No, we'll cut it down to 5 rounds because that would take too long. 5 rounds to it. Every time there's a round, there's an increasing level of difficulty on the track as it shifts and things become like vertical grades get more severe. Every round, a racer has an opportunity to spend a fate point to use the refueling, get repairs to their cars, that sort of thing, with the risk of being taken out if they don't take those pit stops. But if a racer is good enough or unhinged enough, they can definitely go all 5 laps um, without hitting that pit stop. It's just it gets more severe each time. So someone who decides not to take a pit stop could be throwing themselves at risk by doing so. Um, the track itself actually shifts though as the
Okay.
race goes on. So there is not. You want to sabotage pit stops?
I want to sabotage pit stops. The finishing line is a real obvious one, or at least where the designated finish line probably would be. And let's see, that leaves three other areas. Probably the vertical space that they go up.
Okay, so like the ramp.
Yes, the ramp. Other than that, the other two areas I would have to. I'm not sure of really.
I mean, it can include anything in the casino. Odds of someone winning in the actual, like, on the slots machine, on the slots, blackjack, poker, roulette wheel, that sort of thing. Security response, like security doors, elevators, like anywhere, any part of this casino, you can technically plant a stone to cause disruption. It's just a question of how do you want to maximize.
I definitely want to maximize the security response to be real bad, so that leaves one stone. Uh, hmm, Definitely the odds on Konopka winning.
Well,
Well, not winning, but definitely the odds. I mean,
that's more of like a concept. You can't put a
yeah,
stone on it. So
uh,
how would you
right.
mess with that? She's not going to race herself, so you got that going for you. You put odds. You can mess with the calculation
Y- Yeah,
servers, or
odds to mess with the calculation server.
okay. So each of those is going to require a roll.
Okay.
First one, the pit stops. You are going to. So when you place a stone somewhere, you kind of like, it's like within touch range, right? Like you actually have to put a stone somewhere. Like you produce it out of your stand and place it. We'll say
Yeah,
only you can see it, or only you and a stand user or whatever. So for the pit stops, you would need some form of camouflage. What's your story? I guess what's your cover for going in and doing the sabotage here?
obviously, because she came in with Helena, she wants to make sure um, the pit stop hasn't been messed with. Obviously, like I imagine, she's probably like at least registered as mm, maybe not a manager, but a kind of uh, well, I think manager might work. Uh, so just go in there just to inspect it and make sure nothing has been messed with. Absolutely, that's that kind of thing.
Okay, here's the deal. Um, you will roll against a series of difficulties on each of these rolls for how you're going to take it down. If you fail in your placement, then you will give a bonus to Konopka instead.
Okay,
So just so you know, here, if you make a mistake, Konopka will get the benefit of it. Your first difficulty rank is 3. So you're going in to do inspections and you'll place a stone. Go ahead and give me a, let's see, for this secret sniffer.
all right.
Oh, do a very good job. You're able to kind of, do you fast talk? Do you charm people, or how do you do it?
Oh yeah, she's probably she. What she does is she probably chats them up, asks them like how how their kids are, if they have any, if they don't, just like what they think the race is going to be like, who they're really, you know, angling for winning, and what do you think about that mysterious? Uh, was it a violently red?
The violently red Testarossa overdrive.
Yeah, like what do you think about that? That's a little bit, like that kind of thing. And then while she's just talking it out, it's just a little slip and snap and put somewhere nice and unsuspiciously.
Okay. Then you are able to sneak that in just fine. That's one. Your second one is the finishing line. That one would probably be an electric marker, or like, setup of electrical equipment near the line. The starter line is like, that's still not far from the finish line. So it's like kind of the rigging around there to the determining cameras, the motion sensors, speed detectors, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and a lot of a laser array to make sure it's pinpoint accurate which vehicle is passing. So, what's your cover story for interfering there?
uh, her cover story for interfering there. Hmm. Kind of want to say uh, kind of photographer, kind of like getting pictures of the finish line, kind of like setting up so that way, like it's going to be a big press thing, right?
Right on.
Obviously. So it's like kind of a press thing of like, here's where the finish line is going to be, and I'm going to set up a camera so, kind of catch the big final race finisher kind of
Oh,
thing.
okay. Your difficulty is still 3, but you have to roll Bedazzler for this one.
Okay.
Wish you luck. Want to re-roll that?
Oh dear. I don't think it's going to get any better than this, but
Negative 2 negatives and a 2 zeros. Not great. I mean, I think you could do better, probably.
oh yeah, I could do better. Could also do worse, but yeah, I will re-roll that. I will spend the fate point to re-roll that.
One. It's up to you whether you want to spend more fate points on that.
I don't want to spend all my fate points on this the fucking thing.
All right, that's fair. You are able to put your stone sort of what you feel is the right area, but there is a part of you feels like you need more time to figure out the right placement of it. But before you can get to that, you are kind of rushed out of the area by some of the security there. One of them is wearing a jade necklace, and another one is kind of suspiciously just chewing on a lemon bar slice. Um, they seem to bump into each other and then start to talk to one another about the lemon bar slice and the jade necklace. And then a third person walks over with a cherry soda that's very bubbly. And the three of them, you notice, begin to kind of like walk around each other and discuss things about how people need to get out of here. And then a fourth person walks over, a woman wearing very black um, makeup, like very heavy goth makeup. And then the four of them are all pointing at one another as they're walking until they align in a very set direction with certain ones east, west, north, and south. Um, one of them then takes out a blue handkerchief, hands it to somebody else, and the all of them shake hands and walk away. It's it was a very odd thing that just happened. But you do
Yeah.
notice a bubble floating nearby after it does.
Oh boy.
Your third your third challenge is the first vertical ramp. Now for that one, keep in mind you don't need to always socially engage through these, but like it may not hurt. Also, I didn't ask what was it that you invoked for your role on the finishing line. What did you invoke?
I feel like I would have invoked uh, Saturn eating his sons, probably.
Ah, okay. So by the time you get to the fourth one or the third one, um, you can feel something like acid reflux a little bit. You're fine though, but it feels like you ate something wrong. Like there's a little bit too much of a burn in your chest. Um, you're okay though. It's nothing like serious. It's probably just some kind of reaction to the Russian food here, the weird D-rad cuisine.
Oh yeah, absolutely dreadful.
Because of that, By the time you finish kind of like clearing out that strange feeling in your chest, you have successfully sabotaged the vertical ramp by cutting some of the security restraints that are very crucial to the infrastructure of the vertical ramp. You did this by sweet talking one of the technicians as a very lonely guy, and you happen to remind him of his high school girlfriend. He told you kind of everything about his life and what was going on up till that. And then you told him that maybe it was time for him to consider just taking some time for himself. At that point, he walked away, and you were able to violently remove some of the restraints and security prevent, like the disaster prevention linkage of the vertical ramp. This all happened kind of automatically and pretty fluidly, actually. But you're fine. What you're currently holding in your hand as you kind of like come back to your senses is a very, very important piece of machinery. You can either choose to put it back and just like walk away and try to regather yourself, or you can just let it be fucked up.
I will let it be fucked up.
Okay, fair enough. You feel like you did a good job, and that's all that matters. Uh, okay, that's number three. Number four is going to be the security office door. We'll say it's like an elevator setup. They have to like come up from underground. Placing a stone there probably is going to be, yeah, it's going to be a very difficult thing for you to pull off. So that's going to be a difficulty level of 5, but I will allow you to roll your rock and rolling aspect to see if you can kind of get in and out quickly.
Okay.
Oh wow, you really slaughtered it. Fucking nice. So you are able to, at this point, like the fluidity of your last assignment has allowed, or that last thing you did allowed you to kind of like, let's say almost ninja like grace and dexterity. Maybe even drop in Mission Impossible style, or with your feet around like a little support, kind of just like drop a stone in and exit out before you are seen. The camera was turned one way, and by the time it turned back, there was nothing to see there. So you very fluidly and flawlessly executed that little bit of espionage. Your last one is the calculation servers, the servers that are used to very, very accurately get down the odds. These servers are not very easy to get into, as you can imagine. There's probably the utmost security around them. Because of that reason, the passive difficulty level is going to be 7 for you to pass that. If you do, you will get very good rewards for it. Like it will be extremely advantageous, because this is maybe some of the heart of how Konopka is able to maintain proper odds management. But 7 is a very, very difficult number to beat. Um, that is up to you whether you want to attempt that. If you don't attempt it, you will get, obviously, you'll get no benefit, but Konopka won't get any benefit. So, do you want to gamble? Basically, you've got 2 fate points remaining, I believe, and compels can be used if necessary. But um, that is up to you.
Oh dear.
You may be able to assure a total, or at least a nearly complete victory, by gaining influence over an odds calculator. I will say that. So if that at all, it lets you know that it's 7 for a reason.
Uh, I'll I'll go ahead for it. Give it a shot.
All right. For in that case, you will give me a. What are you going to need for this? Hmm. Um. Go ahead and give me a martial arts expert roll is fine. Sure, martial arts expert. Has difficulty 7. A 3. 2 invokes will get you there.
Okay, I'll invoke once, and then I don't have another fate point, so
That'll get you at a 5. Um, you have a compulsion that you need to see secrets.
yes.
So you may be able to get that other fate point that you need so that you can really pull off this maneuver. But doing so like basically is going to require you to tap into a secret and hidden ability of yours, a certain capability. Doing so would require you to tap into your connection to Avicii Dagon, the secret of which is something you have likely hidden from yourself because the temptation to embrace that power and ability is something that could put you and your children at great risk. And not only that, but the powers that be in Guam, if someone in your position were at all influenced so heavily by Avicii, it could be a disaster. On the other hand, you do need to get this done. So the question is, do you use the powers that are at your disposal and the secrets that lie within, eldritch as they might be, or do you walk away from the table? Do you roll the dice?
She will roll the dice.
Okay. This compulsion then is one where if it lands on a heads, Avicii will at some point take control, or his will take control of you during a crucial moment. And if it lands on tails, that won't happen. So again, you will roll the dice on this, you say.
All right.
Okay. So, you know what? Instead of saying heads and tails, I'll let you decide heads or tails.
Oh, good. Heads.
Okay. 1 is heads, 2 is tails. Congratulations. As you feel yourself tapping into the blood of Avicii to get into the server, talk to people, smooth talk your way past certain points, sneak and disappear past others. You can feel for a moment the hand of Avicii on your shoulder guiding you as if he were showing you, his child, how this should be done. But then there is a moment where he turns to smile at you as if in pride. But before that smile can shatter your sense of sanity, he's gone. And that is all just in your mind. You have stayed true to yourself and not to the malevolent will of your creator, in which case you are able to place the stone in one crucial part, perhaps near a power box or some junction. And because of that, you are able to get most of what you needed in line. Very risky gamble you took just now. Because when
Very.
Avicii if he were to take advantage of you, that could mean something like shooting one of your human friends in the head. Like, any of them.
Yeah.
Your connection with Avicii is likely one of that you do not particularly enjoy, I'm sure. Dagonites may often remind you of that place where you come from, that malevolent egg from which you hatched, that is Avicii. It's through the other members of Aqua that you're able, I would imagine, to get a better idea of what life is like outside of just simple service to an eldritch monster such as he. In this case, it's probably also your children that give you some strength to carry on and, at least for now, ward off what you have heard many Dagonite disciples tell you about when you lock them up, that it's just easier to let go. It's easier to get it done with Avicii's guidance, with his power, with his malevolence, with his acid. Um, for a moment, you got a glimpse of that, but luckily you were able to pull back. Good job. You were down to 0 fate points, however, so we'll just have to see how this goes. You are letting it ride. You have all stakes on um, your racer and your mission. The next question I guess I have before we engage in the race itself and what happens with that is, do you want to kill Konopka or do you want to take her in alive?
Ideally, I want to take her alive.
Okay. We have to ask because then that we have to determine what is the there are different fail states and different success states for this one, obviously, and there's shades in between. One of them is you can kill her and be successful. Um, so I guess we'll just have to see how that goes. For you racers who are on the track, are any of you nervous before you go out? Probably not, right?
Nope.
All right, good. Nobody else say anything ever.
Haven't felt nervous since the day I came home and the door was unlocked and broken open and
Go
and
on.
then just continue. Yeah, it just continues.
Right. All right then. Then as we kick off into what is essentially combat here, we will be doing this by round, but in a sort of different way. There will be 5 rounds to consider, which is a little bit long, but we'll get through it really quickly. Just make sure you keep your sheet open for the rolls, and then we'll just determine it really quickly who's in the lead and who is behind. There are 6 positions. You will be in one determined by how you roll and what happens. And also, unknowingly, you'll also be influenced by any spring trap that any trap sprung by your local friendly Guam police karate mom.
Hopefully, no one gets turned into a fine red mist.
Oh, I'm sure some of them are hoping that that actually does happen. Let me just get a token for Testarossa Overdrive so you can at least see them. Not, I mean, they're a car, so it's not exactly super hard to imagine. But let's see, where's Testarossa Overdrive? Where you at, buddy? There we go. Testarossa Overdrive, the mysterious red racer. And with that, all of you lined up at the track, the race will proceed to start. I'm going to need each of you to roll a 1d10. Okay, I need one from, just one from Octavia.
Oh, sorry.
Give me that 1d10. Okay, as we begin the race, that means that Zoe, you are in first position. You are first out on the track. You're able to pull ahead very quickly. Helena is at the back of the pack, it looks like, and Octavia and Sin are neck and neck right now. Testarossa Overdrive is somewhere lagging behind and not quite as far as Helena, and Red Barchetta is not able to start its vehicle because it's a train on wheels. You now have an opportunity as you come up to the first vertical ramp to overtake someone in front of you if you want. We'll be going to this round by round. So basically, you're going to try to take actions against one another if you're trying to overtake their position or go past them. In this case, Sin or Octavia, you will need to take actions against Zoe if you want to get past her. So we'll start with you, Sin. Do you want to try to just get past Octavia, or do you want to get past the both of them to take the front of the race right now?
I think right now you'd probably deal with Octavia since they're neck and neck.
Okay, go ahead and give me a You can choose to create an advantage here if you want. This can be a series of actions.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And because this is anime, you can assume that people can hear you even though you're driving at 1,000,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, I assume that we all have some way of self-communication.
The comm system or something, yeah.
We're all hooked up into the same comm system so we can mouth each other.
Yeah. It's the future. Why can't we shit talk?
And obviously,
Legal shit talking. That's what all sports need.
obviously, if this is being televised too, you got to cut to something.
That's true. In NASCAR, they always cut to like what they're talking about in the helmets, and it's always boring. But now, because we're in Death Race 2000,
instead of talking to boring coaches, we yell at each other.
yeah. Now we can have fun with it. Yeah, if that's the case, yeah, I'll create an advantage, and I'll roll spout, and then I'll use my stunt to give it a +2.
Okay, give me a spout roll. Octavia, give me a fuel roll. A 3 versus a 2. Do either of you want to spend a fate point?
Are you obviously contesting me in the, like, what do you say when you try to pass me?
Yeah, you probably hear over the comms, Sin will start with, I didn't enter this race to fight you, but because of my past, I need to get revenge for my wife and my family that could have been. Everything was thrown away. And you're just hearing I would say all of you are hearing all of this at the same time. Like he's full open channel. So you all are hearing his entire backstory play out.
Was your wife a racer?
No. She was a doctor. She helped orphans. And you can hear over the mic, like the leather gloves he wears when he drives are like gripping hard against like the steering wheel, also leather, and it's just like this tightening as he's getting like more upset as he goes.
Well, then I didn't murder her, hun.
I know, but I'm gonna find her killer, and when I do, it's gonna be a very busy day in hell.
Maybe I can help you meet her down there.
With that, like, he probably just tries to like sideswipe you. Like, there's no other words.
That's basically a compel, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, that definitely definitely hits
Okay.
on his trouble.
Yeah. You've given him a compel. You can pay him the fate point if you want, or are you putting him under the effects of adrenaline?
Well, as he tries to sideswipe into her car, part of her car goes misty and drifts into his window or his vents. And yes, I am.
Okay, then you're paying 2 fate points to him if he takes it, and
So I get -2 fate points. Is that how this works?
we have to fix that a little. For now, we'll just say it's 1 fate point.
Okay.
Regular old compel, not stunt compel. You give him 1 fate point, but he's in a worse position for it. So
Okay.
and you're compelling his trouble. So in that case, what do you how do you compel him to complicate a situation?
Well, he's now halfway in my car, and I'm like sitting in his passenger. Well, there's no passenger seat, but there appears to be a passenger seat.
Well, no, I was gonna say technically because it is a 1970 Dodge Charger, it does have like multiple seatings for multiple people.
So I'm
This
sitting
is-
in your second seat. And my other one is that if I take a compel based on extreme competition, which I just do, I get a +2 to a fuel roll. So I want to just like speed up both of our cars and try to ram his side of the car into the first place.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend a fate point for that.
Go for a fuel roll then.
That's a 3.
Okay. Sin, give me a punch it roll, I guess.
No, I guess technically I spent a fate point on it. So it's
5.
even.
It's even right now. Sin, you can spend fate points obviously to pass that if you want. Oh, you actually have your advantage from Spout. Your dramatic backstory.
Yes. Yeah, because that's why it's spout. Yeah, I'll definitely use that advantage here.
In that case,
To just punch me in the face?
Yeah, like the second you materialize in his car, you just get this like completely manic, like wide-eyed stare, and then yeah, he just straight up just punches you. Like his right arm just comes loose from the steering wheel and just goes right to where your face should be. But I assume since you can turn into mist, you just turn into mist from the neck up.
Well, I have a
Or I guess you would,
helmet.
yeah. Or I guess you take it, yeah.
So you hit my helmet, it cracks and probably leaks more adrenaline, so you're real pumped up now. But
Yeah.
you're dazed and like reeling. That gives me like 1 damage. How much damage is that?
yeah, that's 2 physical stress.
Okay, I'll take 2 stress. How many body and soul points do we have?
For you right now as a minion, 2 is fine. If you if you went up to the full 4 or 5, it might take a while to get through this, but I will say we'll take special consideration because you're not human, you know.
Well, like yeah, even if I couldn't take it out, I fed. So
Yeah.
okay, doing good.
We'll say, let's see, what is it? Yeah, the average for demons is 4.
Okay.
So we'll just say, you know, it's not just you, it's your car. Is your car a part of you actually? I guess you turned it in mist. Okay. In that case, yeah, we'll just roll with it for now. You
Do we still punch forward?
You do. Zoe, I'm gonna need you to give me a defensive roll here against what the fuck was it? A 7? You need to roll against a 7 because Sin's car is kind of hurtling towards you.
It's a weird combined color.
Yeah, you can spend 2 fate points to avoid getting smashed into. Or
I will.
okay. Go ahead and what do you invoke?
like a ninja and precision trumps power.
Okay, yeah, these two maniacs are trying to just ram right into you. You're able to control your machine with precision performance and avoid getting swiped unless, and this is important, at any point, Claudia, you can activate that stone on this upward vertical ramp to fuck with any of these rolls. Any move that you do here that causes stress to any of them will cause stress to Konopka's mental state.
Oh.
So
The
if
more
you
chaotic we get, the worse it gets for her.
more
Well, yeah, you
specifically
can't feng
chaotic
shui.
that
You can't feng shui if someone's moving your furniture around,
Checks out.
and those people are on meth.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'll fuck with them in this one because I feel like it would cause the most chaos.
okay, who do you want to fuck with on this one?
Zoe.
Okay. So activating like a stone allows you to, let's see, change one negative to one positive or one positive to one negative, I believe. So you just want to change her positive on her roll to a negative, I would assume.
Yeah.
Turning that 3 into a 1. I mean, Zoe, you are at 5 even though you spent 2 fate points to get there. So you spend your 2 fate points and you think you're going to get away from them, but you get slammed into because at the last moment, like, your machine just starts to rattle a bit from some kind of resonance or disruption in the environment. You take 2 physical stress from being rammed by the combined car of Sin and OK Go, Octavia.
Alright.
And Octavia, you are now in the lead. Do you separate or detach from this car driven by Sin, or do you just like keep him along with you?
He punched me in the face, so I'm gonna go ahead, I guess.
Then the current position here is, well, in that case, Sin, you are number 3 in the race now. Once Octavia separates from you, Zoe is in second after being bumped by your vehicle, and the impact actually caused you to your wheels to stutter a bit and put you back in 3rd place. At the same time, as you're going up, Helena, way in the back, is going to use her abilities to destroy part of the track with an explosion of scythe blades that emerge and blossom out like a flower in fast forward. She is attempting to create a complete and utter track obstruction. She's going to fuel that with 2 invokes, Veteran Racer and Sadistic. So you just see the road start to tear up with scythe blades going everywhere, sending chunks of asphalt in all directions. This is going to create a level 6 obstruction for both you, Sin, and you, Zoe. You guys need to beat a 6 to get past it with your preferred roll. In your case, I'm assuming punch it. Sin.
Yeah, I mean it's either go through or go around. So
You got 2 fate. You got, I'm
So
sure,
I'm
2
punching
fate points to spend.
yeah, I do, and I will. So I'll use my clenched everything all the time, and then my lives life a half mile at a time.
Okay, Zoe, you need to give me a desire and fire roll. You only have 1 fate point left. I will put you at a 5. Do you want to take a compel to try and get past it? That could make things more difficult for you, or is your character reasonable enough not to try to push your way through the track exploding and people trying to smash into you with their vapor cars?
She's only got 1 stress point left, so she only has that gamble.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So-
it'll-
So are you gonna re-roll, or are you gonna let it?
Ooh. Either way, I'm screwed, huh? Oh no, wait, am I getting compelled?
No, you're not getting compelled. You can compel
Okay.
yourself to get a fate point back. Otherwise, you would just take third position, or rather, you'd actually take fourth, because you being obstructed by that didn't stop. It didn't stop Sin, but it does. It also doesn't stop Helena. She seemed to have calculated it. She's going to pull past you, and you'll be in fourth place.
Okay, I'm just gonna plus 2 it. I don't know.
No, plus doing you're still not gonna hit it. You'd have to roll like real. I mean, you could just gamble and re-roll it, see if you get a 6. It's possible with a +3 approach. It's just you'd have to get a lot of pluses.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna keep this fate point actually.
Okay. So you have to like take the back position, and Helena just like speeds past you, and like fucking looks violently happy as she does. Chunks of the road are just hitting and impacting with her own car, but she doesn't seem to care. You can actually see the windshield crack a little, along with her deranged smile as she goes past you. Sin, you see this woman behind you with this ghostly pale face and dark makeup and very wide smile, kind of almost pressing her face against the windshield as she leans forward with the widest of grins. It's like you're being chased down by a specter. How's that make you feel, bud? This is normal for you?
I feel like there's probably a second where for once in a very long time, his absolutely just annoyed at everything demeanor changes, and in a very tiny whisper that is not picked up by the comms, he just goes, "Margaret?"
Oh no.
That's it.
Oh no!
Okay, and Red Barchetta. How does he do? Let's see.
Come on, train guy. Forget me.
He finally gets his train moving and then crashes into the mess that Helena made. His train just takes a bunch of damage and he starts to slow down.
Oh no!
You can actually see him get out onto the side of his train car as it's driving, take out a giant wrench and begin to try to do repairs as he's trying to speed along at well over 100 miles per hour. His hat, his very tall stovepipe hat, is dangerously close to falling off at these speeds. Finally, you see, kind of like neck and neck with you, Zoe, is Testarossa Overdrive, which, as you're driving, another rock is flying right towards your windshield. Testarossa Overdrive actually spins out in front of it, smacks it away with the side of its car, and then kind of seems to have a little bit of trouble, but otherwise is maintaining speed. It's neck and neck with you, but for a moment you could swear that car might have saved your life.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask if I could compel myself to be distracted by Red Barchetta, but that's way more distracting. I'm willing to, like, really fall behind for that. Give me that fate point.
Okay. You
Back there.
take a fate point to fall behind to the back of the pack. You get one back. But as you are observing Testarossa Overdrive, the car, you do not know like who the driver is. You notice that two things here. One, while it does seem to have extremely good or even intuitive handling, it is missing maybe the more experienced skill of a driver. And two, this car, unlike some of the other racers, is not seemingly being pushed with any kind of passion or malicious intent or anything. It just seems to want to drive and race.
Wow.
So it's maintaining proper driving form. It's not doing anything crazy or malicious.
What a pure spirit for a change.
Thus ends the first lap. Okay, go in the front. Sin second. Sin, you are in second place. Helena in third place, closing in on you. Red Barchetta, kind of fourth place, but it doesn't seem likely that he may have difficulty even finishing the race with his complications. Currently, it looks like also the car rigging and chassis that he's basically bolted a train onto, maybe starting to come apart. Screws and bolts are flying off of his vehicle as he flies down the track. Testarossa Overdrive now in fifth place, and you, Zoe, in sixth. That ends the first lap. Claudia, where are you seated to watch this race?
She's probably seated around, probably, I want to say, like, not first seat, but like kind of close to the middle, like middling seat, where it's like you can see as much of it as possible.
Okay. Then you are able to see that, like, up in one of the box seats, Konopka is there watching the race, and she looks like actually a little bit pained or nervous. She takes 2 soul stress from what happened on the track. You can increase how much soul stress she's taking by spending fate points if you want to try to inflict a consequence on her. Otherwise, like, she just looks like really nervous right now. Things are not going as planned, or they're out of place somehow. She just can't figure out why.
I don't have any fate points to do that, so
Don't forget you also have the ability to compel yourself whenever you need to do that.
all right.
Actually, you feel a compulsion. I will give you a fate point back, but you can further cause chaos in this scene using the gun of Abel. You don't even need to fire it, you just need to take it out.
I will do.
You get 1 fate. I guess you couldn't refuse because you have no fate points. So, like, you take out the gun or it falls off of you. Which would you prefer? Actually taking it out or having it fall out of your clothes?
Probably falls out, yeah.
Okay, it falls out. Falls a little bit out of your view, off of the stands. Hits something like a step and fires. Konopka actually turns to look after it falls, but before it makes impact, and the bullet actually grazes past her, flies through her hood, and causes her cheek to bleed. It almost nailed her. She looks incredibly scared because that wasn't supposed to happen. And in particular, that gun, after it falls and fires, everyone starts screaming, obviously. But then she looks backwards and sees that the bullet, where it landed, instead of hitting her, it hit one of those very gingerly placed, those very shaky billboards that are up there, and it detaches and begins to swing down towards Konopka. The bladed edge of it is sharp. It's basically a moving guillotine. It's like a just a swinging blade that could actually cut her in half. She uses her bubble wand sword to block, or try to see how it goes. No, it goes horribly for her. Jesus. That's an incoming amount of, she is now she's now dazed, and gets almost, she does get knocked over the railing and holds onto it with one hand, though it looks like she might have taken a smack on the head. If she falls from this distance, she is probably going to die falling just down onto the ground. Her feng shui is all off right now. Let's see, what can she do here? She's going to flip a coin. You can see her just take a coin out of her pocket, flip it. That's one is a head. She catches heads and begins to climb back up. You can feel, just like how you feel the resonance of your stones and how they're interfering with the environment, the coin and her flip are also beginning to interfere with odds. This is now a her stunt, and she is going to use it to try and protect herself from further attacks or chaos. And yes, also if she dies and splats before the timer is up, that's gonna fuck up the entire mission. You have kind of an option here, Claudia. The chaos that you've caused could cause Konopka to die early. You can either let that happen, or you can try to rescue her during this next round in the race when they take the next lap.
All right. Hmm.
But let's get back to the top of the action. Sin, you are currently behind Octavia. Do you want to try to muscle past her? You've got the adrenaline flowing through your veins from just coming into contact with this demon.
Yes. Very much I would like to be in first. I should have made one of my aspects if you're not first or last, but that didn't feel like it worked. But yes, I would very much like to get around her, because just fuck her. She was mean to me, and she
gets my
and she said mean things about my dead wife. We're going.
Okay, go ahead and give me the punch it. Give me a punch it roll. The 2. Go ahead and give me a fuel roll, Octavia. The 3. Sin, do either of you want to spend fate points on this to see who's going to take first place or get ahead? Whoever gets left behind is going to have to deal with Helena coming up in third.
Yeah, I'll pay a fate point. And I'll actually invoke my trouble, the need for speedy revenge.
Okay.
I will yeah, I will be getting revenge.
Octavia, do you spend a fate point, or do you want to like let it slide? Because he's pumped full of adrenaline. It seems like things are going to get very dangerous, and going backwards could put you into contact with a very deranged individual.
I let it slide because I'm getting ready to feed. So.
Okay. Then you go ahead and get in second place. Sin is in first. Octavia, what is your move here now that you're back in second?
I would like to. This is gonna hurt me, but also help me. I would like to do Here It Goes again. So I'm starting to like feed off the first place winner because he was full of adrenaline, which saps strength from him, gives me a boost, and gives everyone behind me a boost.
Okay. So you're feeding now. Sin, you can feel your speed beginning to decrease a little, though you're still maintaining first place position. This momentum could hurt you on the next lap. That means that you have a +2 now, Octavia, and Helena has a +1 on her speed, which she's going to use.
It feels like you're steaming.
Sure.
Sin, and it kind of looks like maybe your engine may be steaming, but it's actually the steam coming back to my car.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does he actually begin to slow? Like, are his gauges dropping? Because he'd probably continue to be upset about it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Blame it on her weird missed car messing up his engine.
He's not wrong.
Helena is rolling to overtake you. Octavia.
What should I roll to?
You want to roll equivalent, so speed probably. Or in this case, we'll say...
Really?
Is thrills your speed or is fuel your speed?
I guess fuel's my speed, but I am eating off of his thrill right now, so that's why I assume.
Okay.
So I'll roll thrill. I'll roll fuel if you prefer, whichever. You're
Okay.
the DM, tell me what to roll.
Just give me a fuel roll, I guess, is fine. That's a 6, right?
+2, yes, but she has a +1, so.
Okay, so she's going
So
to.
does everyone else.
So as you are like getting ready to speed past this woman, Helena, you can see her stare at you. Let's see how it goes when she re-rolls. The 2, that makes it a 3. She's staring at you like she wants to kill you. She can't overtake you right now, but this is different from just pure adrenaline. You've seen this kind of look before, maybe in other demons. It's not the same. It's almost like a cold rage. Even though she's smiling with this very wide grin, she looks like she's more likely to like basically saw your head off with her teeth than actually take a bite. She's just staring at you though. She can't catch up at the moment.
Give her a taunting little pointed smile back and give her a little wave.
Alrighty, that is. You can sort of, by the way, once you do taunt her, you can see that there are black cloths, like just sheets starting to manifest slowly in the shadows near the next turn, next bend in the track. So she is definitely using an ability. It just hasn't sprung yet. As for you, Zoe, you are currently in last place. Testarossa Overdrive is going to attempt to pull up past Helena. And succeed. As Helena is seething, you see a red car pull up past her, Octavia, and you cannot actually determine any intent of that driver. It actually doesn't get a bonus from your stunt. But Zoe, as it's pulling up, you can see that the very same Reaper-like manifestations that initially caused the road to like kind of blow up and create that obstacle are about to actually spring up close to where Testarossa Overdrive is. You may be able to use almost like a pit maneuver to knock it away from that area, but it could do damage to your vehicle. Do you care enough about this strange driver to maybe save their life, or do you just try to protect yourself from whatever attack is about to happen?
Oh man, she has an aspect every man, woman, and child for themselves. She doesn't know what this is, and doesn't seem to be any of those things so far. So, yeah, she's gonna help them. She owes them a favor. By the way, this maneuver is
It would just bump the back of their car with the front of yours, like from the side. You basically like try to swipe them a little.
Ah, okay. What do you want me to roll for that?
Give me a reckless roll. With a 1, do you have any fate points to pump it? Or?
I'll spend a fate point to give that. Roll 3, clear it.
Well, let's see how the Testarossa Overdrive rolls. A 6.
Holy shit.
3 won't clear it.
Okay.
So.
What if I use? Can I try to use my stunt maybe to make it like a ridiculous maneuver? And spend a fate point to reroll the reckless.
Yes.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my god, I'm kidding now. I'm just gonna use my last fate point.
Okay. So a 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried hero car.
Actually, Konopka, once she gets her bearings, will let's see, what can she do with this?
I can always let myself the fuck out if you'll allow that little stun.
You can, yeah, absolutely.
Alright, yeah. I'm trying to think of like what's a way to go out here.
You can just do, well, I can think of a way.
It's just a combo of both sides basically playing out here, so she's basically flipping out.
So when you go to do this maneuver to like stop Testarossa Overdrive from crashing, your car, basically you feel like you're indebted to this person. You don't know why.
Yeah, maybe she feels like a little bit of a different sort of desire for once, not just this chase for whatever. Like, oh, I actually want to help this person that helped me. Someone actually like cared. It's a stranger.
So as you are driving to try and stop this car or stop it from getting hit, as it's like driving and bumping along on the road, you can see that part of the window has cracked, part of the tinted window. And the first thing that you'll notice when you can actually see through it at this speed and range is there is nobody inside. And the second thing that you can see is that on the console, which is just kind of this black, red digital display of LEDs, there is a frowny face as it's trying to, all the little gears and gadgets and whirls and little meters are attempting to react and get some kind of counterbalance involved as the scythe blades are beginning to tear up around its wheels. It's the frowny face is getting like deeper into a frown as it's like just trying to get back to, you can tell it has some kind of program that it's following of the racetrack. It's attempting to just steer itself back with this primitive little LED screen, almost like a kid playing a game. And there are emergency lights beginning to go off inside of the car. I can't seem to figure it out. And then like there's a question of eject, self-destruct. Like you can see those words like flash up with question marks. It just isn't sure. Small sparks are beginning to emerge from the console, and the frowny face is becoming distorted. You have an opportunity here. Let's see what you roll. Roll me a 1d2. Flip a coin. Okay. Your car is how expensive is your vehicle?
Oh man, very. She's a lot of sponsors.
If this car is destroyed in some way, your career as a professional racer, at least with these sponsorships, is over.
Yeah.
But if you pull off a maneuver that destroys your car, you may be able to stop this other car from accelerating to a dangerous point now that it's out of control. Parts of its chassis are being damaged by these scythe blades that are emerging, and it looks like one of its tires is about to blow out.
Yeah, no, she's got to save this mysterious innocent.
Keep in mind also, if you destroy your car at this speed on this track as you're taking the vertical ramp, you may be throwing your life, like you could die here easily. If anything happens, like you get ejected, like you're probably paced.
Well, as long as she went out flying, right? Oh man, that's so risky. Fuck.
Okay, give me a reckless roll. So you are able to do another pit maneuver to stop Testarossa Overdrive from having a fatal collision. But as a result, your vehicle is rolled and you are ejected from it. Like the security, the safety restraints from the impacts, the speed that you're going at, some of the damage your vehicle has taken, you are basically flung free from the vehicle. Give me another. Actually, give me a grounded roll. Fuck it. You are lucky. If you had rolled a negative, you'd be dead. Instead, um, as the Testarossa Overdrive is spinning out, the door opens and you fly into it. You probably sprain a couple tendons and maybe even break a bone, but you land inside of this car as it's spinning around, attempting to dance out of the way of any incoming scythe blades from Helena. The door slams shut once you're inside, and you can see in the rearview mirror as it attempts to pull back into the race, your car is completely destroyed.
Yeah, that's okay. She's alive, and even better, this.
The car is still doing a frowny face, but it does manage to, on the LED display, to say hello in letters before it tries to punch it and drive ahead. Currently, Zoe, you are technically taken out of the race, but Testarossa Overdrive is not. This vehicle has a wheel, very old style, almost pilot style kind of driving mechanism. So like this thing, not only is it like built to be like a race car, but it seems to be some kind of multifunctional vehicle. You've probably never seen technology like this because it's from the moon. Um, Despite the primitive LED displays that it has, the capabilities of this possibly meet or exceed any plane that you've even read about. Fighter jets, military stuff, any of that.
Alright, yeah. She's got like trembling hands as she gingerly touches the wheel. Hey, can I ride with you?
The engine roars as it definitely pulls ahead, now twice the speed that it did before. Though it's still far behind Helena, the answer seems to be yes.
Yeah, she starts crying.
So that is what happens there. That is the second lap. Claudia, for you, Konopka is looking directly at you now, and she is holding the wound from the bullet that grazed her. She's trying to, it looks like, read your intention a little bit. And in order to do that, you can see her swipe her bubble wand sword through the air and catch one of the bubbles that it creates, like into her hands, her fingertip. She's going to attempt to read it. Let's see if she can. Oh, she fucking sure can. Um, she seems committed. She wipes the blood off of her face, licks it from her fingertips, and then like points at you, Claudia. She seems to want a fight. And now she has identified at least what she thinks might be the source. So as she leaps from the high up box seat that she is in and comes down towards the ground, you notice that she is not particularly fast or strong. When she glides down a sort of makeshift ramp made from a display of stuffed animals and souvenirs to be handed out to people at the racetrack, she kind of glides along it, very carefully until she skates on a rail, um, and then manages to slide over a person's like wheelchair, one of the handles of it, to another rail, not disrupting any single part of the function or flow. She seems to just be sliding along the rail, turned sideways to face you, and then manages just then to be caught in the arms of a rather large older man who's with his grandchildren. He looks surprised and puts her down and asks if she's all right, but she just continues to sprint off towards a security cart that she kickflips off of and then lands down on the level comfortably because she manages to break her fall with a missing puffy jacket that someone had dropped. The entire maneuver, none of it looked particularly skillful. All of it looked lucky. She's now down on your level as she wipes her bloody face again. You know, I read in my tea leaves that there was going to be someone here that was going to cause me trouble. And sure enough, I guess I spotted it before I knew it. As a member of the elite guard, I have to ask, are you here just for me, or are you here to interfere with the army itself?
Eh, Claudia probably kicks the gun that she dropped up into her hands and kind of takes a small kind of guns akimbo pose and goes, I'm just here for a little business and pleasure.
Oof. I guess that's really at the heart of all gambles, isn't it? She gets down into a fighting stance, curved and turned, her body slightly twisted, but perfectly balanced. As the showdown begins and we move on to the third round of the race. And that is where we'll have to call it for this session. Unfortunately, it is quite late. But with these current positions, Octavia is in second. Sin, you are in first. Helena is in third. And finally, Red Barchetta had to take a pit stop. The pit stop attendants have no idea how to do anything with this vehicle because now that they get a really good look at it, it doesn't make sense. Nothing about the construction of it makes any sense at all. This doesn't even look like somebody did it while they were drunk. It looks like somebody did it like in the dark, like a child did it. A blind child made this apparently. It was made by a blind child. How is this even moving? How not explode? Zika!
They're
Yeah,
probably just interrogating him, like, explain what you've done
Is it
to
laying
this.
down a track before it goes?
see, I was gonna say it's like a model car where it has all the engine parts in it, but then you lift it up a little and it's just a sheet of metal that's folded to look like an engine part, and there's just
Yeah.
nothing inside.
An actual steam engine in there.
Yeah, it just
All right. Yes, we will get back to it in the next session. I wasn't sure if this would be a one or two parter, but I think you guys were having fun with the race, so why not stretch it out a little?
PvP, PvP.
Oh.
Who doesn't love it?
I couldn't have predicted this race.
Oh, I love that Lewis Bot accepted you. Ah!
Fucking that car came out of
I can't
nowhere.
wait for your story to end exactly like Grease. You hop in your car and then you fly away, and all of us never question it.
Aw. Yeah, if she wins, maybe she should just be like, fuck money, give to charity. I got a fucking airplane car now.
I got a supercar and I got to solve crimes with it now.
Yeah.
Got to race ghosts or something with it. I don't know. Race aliens.
Get together with Sid and find his dead wife, kill her.
I just have it,
His sidekick.
That's fine. I can be the loose cop that's always on edge,
Yeah.
and you're the by the book.
Also, Konopka's so sensitive.
What do you mean?
race is jacking her up psychologically. Like, aww.
You got the odds.
She's just a little guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't like when someone comes in and pushes all her furniture over.
Yeah, who would?
You used to like that. What was that game? Derby Days?
Yeah.
Imagine if someone came in Derby Days and pushed one of your horses over.
Oh no. That's what. Yeah, no. Love it.
All right, though.